Hey guys, and welcome to this video. So in today's video, I'm going to be testing out and doing a wear test of the new Revlon Youth FX line, the foundation and the concealer. These are definitely on the higher end of the spectrum in terms of price point for the drugstore. They're quite expensive, so I'm going to be keeping that in mind as I'm testing these. But before we get into the actual application, I want to read you guys the description of these products so that we know what we're looking for. So the foundation claims to be a lightweight hydrating formula that works to fill in and blur lines and wrinkles with micro fillers and optical diffusers. It says that the appearance of lines and wrinkles will be smooth. The high coverage foundation erases the look of uneven tone, age spots, and hyperpigmentation. And this is available in 12 shades. I got mine in the shade 210, which is sand beige. And then for features, it also says it won't settle into fine lines and that it'll look freshly applied all day long. And this does also have an SPF of 20 in it. And then the concealer has similar claims. It says it's a lightweight hydrating formula that works to fill in and blur lines and wrinkles with micro fillers and optical diffusers. It erases the appearance of dark circles with color correcting pigments to brighten the skin around the eyes and dramatically transform the appearance of crow's feet. And then it says the soft cushion applicator makes blending easy, and it comes in 6 different shades. I got mine in the shade 2, which is the shade light. So with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into the application. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply. As always, I'm going to do one side with a sponge and the other side with a brush. This is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, and then this is the Morphe M439. So I picked up the shade 210, which is sand beige. It looked like the best match, but we're about to find out if it was. So I'm just gonna put some on the back of my hand here. Go ahead and use the sponge on this side. It's definitely got a pretty thick consistency, not liquidy at all. It almost feels like a moussey texture. So let's see how this applies. Okay, so right away, the color looks a little bit more pinky than what I typically go for. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to tell, but my undertone is pretty yellow and this has a pretty pink undertone, at least in this shade. The coverage is good. I built it up a little bit more right here where I have acne scars, but overall I would say it's about a medium coverage with the sponge, but it is buildable. It feels really tacky to the touch. Definitely doesn't set on its own, at least not yet, but let's go ahead and apply it to the other side using the brush and see if anything is different. The coverage was definitely fuller on this side when I used the brush. I built it up to be about the same because I did a second layer right here in this section where I needed a fuller coverage. But this side, I didn't feel the need to layer at all because it came out a medium coverage with just the first layer. It's not settling into any lines. My skin does look pretty airbrushed, but it is very tacky to the touch. So I know this is a hydrating formula. I'm not sure how that's going to hold up on my oily skin, but let's go ahead and apply the concealer. So this is the shade 2, which is light, and it has a little pump here at the end where you're supposed to click it, and then kind of the sponge applicator similar to the Maybelline Age Rewind. There it comes. This color looks like it's going to be a good match. It feels really lightweight and cooling on the skin. Let's go ahead and blend it out with my finger. I really like the way that this sponge applicator feels. It's nice and soft, like the Milani sponge applicator. I love that formula, but the sponge is really stiff and hard. This reminds me of the Maybelline Age Rewind one. It's nice and soft underneath that delicate eye area. It came on smooth, but I wouldn't call this a full coverage concealer by any means. It lightened up the under eye area, but I can still see darkness kind of coming through this concealer, which is fine. I like lightweight concealers, but this is claiming to lighten up dark under eye circles, so it's kind of targeting people that do have dark under eye circles, so I wish there was a little bit more coverage. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. So I just finished the rest of my makeup and the color mismatch is definitely getting more noticeable. The foundation in this shade at least has a very pink undertone. I also noticed as I was applying the rest of my makeup that it never really set. It was still feeling very tacky to the touch when I was applying the rest of my makeup, and even after I applied powder on top of it, I can still kind of feel the tackiness coming through. That said, my pores and lines are completely airbrushed right now. I feel like the coverage of this looks really, really nice and even and natural, yet airbrushed at the same time. So I really like the way that this coverage looks on my skin. And then as far as the concealer goes, same thing as the foundation. It never fully set. It still feels a little bit tacky to the touch. So obviously with my oily skin, that makes me a little bit nervous, but if you have dry skin, that might be a plus for you. But I'm gonna wear this for the rest of the day. We're actually having a cleaning day today, so I'm gonna be putting this foundation through the wringer, and I will check back in with you guys at the end of the day and give you my final thoughts. Hey guys, so I'm back. It's been a little over 8 hours, closer to about 9 hours at this point, and like I said, I've spent the whole day cleaning and we just rewarded ourselves by going out to dinner. And yes, I did go go to dinner like this. I didn't blot, that's commitment for you guys. But as you guys can see, I am quite oily at this point. No surprises. I have very oily skin, and that's kind of what I expect with most foundations that don't claim to be mattifying, especially ones that claim to be hydrating. So setting aside the fact that I'm oily, because that's normal for me, I do have a bit of breakup around my nose. It's clinging to some dry spots I have around my nose. It's kind of starting to sink into my pores also on my nose and accentuating them. It's broken up on my chin a little bit and also kind of clung to some dry patches there as well, which is unusual for me. So that's how everything's looking. I'm not going to ramble on and on. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts. Let's start first with the foundation. So things I like about the foundation are right after application and throughout most of the day, especially my cheek area, even still looks really, really good. It looks, right when you first apply it, completely airbrushed. It really doesn't sink into any fine lines, and it stayed that way for about 6 hours before it started breaking down. I also really do like the packaging. I like that it's a squeeze tube and really compact. This would be perfect for traveling, both because of the way it's packaged and because of how small it is, even though you still are getting 1 fluid ounce of product, which is what most foundations offer. Things I'm not so crazy about are, number one, the wear time of this. It does say that by the end of the day your makeup will look freshly applied. I can say for oily skin at least that's not the case. I also was not super impressed by the color selection. I spent a while at the drugstore trying to find the right match for me, and this was the closest one I could find, the one with the most yellow looking undertone, and it still looked pink on my skin, so the color selection isn't the best. I also didn't see very many deep shades, so I don't think this covers the full range of skin tones. And then lastly, and most importantly, I have to mention the price point. This is verging on a not drugstore foundation price, so for me to recommend it to you guys, it would have had to blow me away at an almost $18 price tag, and it just didn't do that. I think there's several other foundations out there, including the one I just reviewed by The Ordinary, that perform much better than this one and don't break the bank. And then moving on to the concealer, I actually really did like this concealer. The applicator on here is very, very soft. It reminds me, like I said, the Age Rewind concealer. I like the little ticker here, even though it did take quite a while for the product to first come out the first time I used it. That's pretty normal with this type of packaging. I was also impressed by the wear time of this one, even though it didn't really set on its own and it was still kind of feeling tacky. My mascara didn't bleed onto it, which is usually what happens with concealers that don't fully set. And I feel like the coverage was good for what I go for with under eye concealers, especially for daytime and natural makeup looks. And then the things I'm not so crazy about are, number one, and I did mention this while I was applying it, this is targeted for people with dark circles. It says it has pigment in there to cancel out darkness underneath the eyes. And even though I do like this type of coverage and consistency for my under eye concealers, if your target market is people with really dark under eye circles, I think it should offer a little bit more coverage. And then again, lastly, I have to mention the price point. This is a $14 or $15 concealer, and if you're looking for something like this, just go with the Maybelline Age Rewind. I don't really see a difference other than I think the Maybelline Age Rewind one offers better coverage. So again, for the price point, I just can't recommend it to you guys. I think with both of these products, they're alright products. I think if you didn't have oily skin, you might enjoy this a lot more than I did, and I think the concealer was pretty good. But if you're gonna price products this high at the drugstore, they need to offer something extremely unique and extremely special, and though I don't think they're bad products, I don't think they're unique or special. So again, I'm not gonna recommend them to you guys. But that is gonna be it for this video. I really hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know down in the comments if any of you have tried these products and what you thought. But if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.